Urgent, Birds fan! Look at what just happened! Nobody saw this coming, huh? But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we bring you daily videos with the latest Birds news. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Eagles, source reveals, Eagles trade. Offers coming in as draft clock is ticking. The Philadelphia Eagles are always looking to make a deal during the NFL draft, even if they appear to be on a tight budget, and even if it means parting ways with a fan favorite. The latest example comes courtesy of tight end Dallas Goedert and his impending contract decision. Philadelphia has looked to move Goedert this offseason with his over $11 million cap hit, considered a serious concern for the team looking to push off as much cap space as possible over the next few years. The good news is that Philadelphia is always prepared for a time like this, especially thanks to the general manager. The way we look at the draft is it's a separate entity to anything else that's going on, Eagles general manager Howie Roseman said during a pre-draft press conference on Tuesday. We've got to make good decisions in the draft based on who the players are that are available in the draft. We can't make up any positions and make them better than they're not. We have to really have a true process. So it really doesn't affect us. We try to do as much as we can at any position in free agency to try to make sure that we're not in a position where there are needs. Of course, we're not a perfect team, and there's always going to be areas that we're looking to improve. And honestly, that's going to happen even the day after the draft. We're going to continue to have areas that when we look at our depth chart, we'll go, man, it would be great to add a player here. The player acquisition period is a huge part of it, but it's certainly not the end. The clock is ticking, though. The NFL draft is a deadline of sorts, and a source now tells us that there have been trade offer calls coming in. Goedert may be on his last few days with the organization, but the Eagles are always going to keep their options open. It's what has made the organization as dominant as they have become. Pausing this news just to say that if you want YouTube to keep recommending the latest Eagles Nation news to you, it's very important that you leave a like on this video. Thanks. Now let's get back to the news. Rumor of Eagles trade of A.J. Brown sets NFL internet on fire. The Philadelphia Eagles may be coming off a Super Bowl victory, but the team has already had to say goodbye to many of the heroes from their victory. Darius Slay, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and many other stars on the Eagles have moved on this offseason. They may not be the only ones either, at least according to a rumor that is setting the NFL internet on fire. Host Nick Fitzy-Stevens shared on the WEEI afternoon show in New England that the Patriots could be close to eventually getting a deal done for Eagles star wide receiver A.J. Brown. I got a call earlier today that the Philadelphia Eagles really want Abdul Carter, and that they would consider, rather, are planning to call your New England Patriots on draft day if Carter falls to number 4 to see if Mike Vrabel would like a reunion with A.J. Brown and possibly more drafter. Selections and compensation to come, Stevens said Friday. So this is sourced info? Brown shared a video where he celebrated receiving a Julian Edelman jersey that some interpreted meant he was holding his own future Patriots numbered 11 jersey that he would be wearing if a deal happened. The All-Pro receiver is, however, a well-known internet troll. The radio station, it seemed, got hoodwinked into spreading a red-hot rumor by falling for a prank. It all began when Brown posted a video with a cryptic message on Instagram. The caption read, "The wait is finally over." In the video, Brown reveals a number 11 New England Patriots jersey. He told viewers, well, it's finally official. The wait is over. He'd been traded to the Patriots, but then Brown turned the jersey around, showing his audience it was actually a signed Edelman jersey. He then said, "I play too much. I have fun. Don't take me serious," says our NFL insider Mike Fisher. So, no. There is no indication that a potential trade is in the works for Brown. What folks are missing is that he also recently got himself a Tom Brady jersey, and that doesn't mean he's getting traded either. The Patriots and their radio station might believe the Eagles could get aggressive to move up, but the Brown-related part of the story, it's a late April Fool's joke. The Eagles trading A.J. Brown? Not just risky, it's reckless. In a league driven by quarterback play, elite talent on the perimeter is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity. That's what makes even entertaining the idea of trading A.J. Brown not only misguided, but flat-out irresponsible for a team like the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's start with the cap reality. Trading Brown before June 1st would saddle the Eagles with a brutal dead cap hit of nearly $32 million. That's not just a tough pill to swallow, it's organizational malpractice when you're trying to win now. This isn't a rebuilding team scraping together cap room to chase future success. The Eagles are a perennial Super Bowl contender. You don't offload cornerstone players in their prime and eat massive financial penalties unless you're waving the white flag on the season, and with Jalen Hurts under center and Saquon Barkley in the backfield, is the answer really that not self-evident? But even beyond the economics, there's the fundamental football logic or lack thereof in trading A.J. Brown. This is a top 20 player in the NFL. Since arriving in Philadelphia, Brown has done nothing but elevate the offense, terrify defensive coordinators, and open up opportunities for everyone else on the field. Since he and Jalen Hurts joined forces, the Eagles have been to 2 Super Bowls in 3 seasons, have won 1 and have won 45 games. That's not a coincidence, that's spectacular. It's also proof of concept. Let's be real, draft picks are the most overrated currency in the NFL. Everyone loves the idea of upside. But the truth is, less than 30 of drafted players even make it onto an NFL roster, and the odds of landing an All-Pro or even Pro Bowl level player from a single first-round pick are less. There are no guarantees, it's a dart throw at best. No kidding, flipping a coin would increase your upside chances significantly. The Eagles don't need hope, they need production, and they already have it in Brown. The numbers don't lie, the reality is there isn't a major threat of Brown leaving the Eagles anytime soon. The 27-year-old signed a 3-year, $96 million extension with the franchise in 2024. That deal was tacked on to the end of his previous contract with the Eagles, possibly keeping Brown in Philadelphia through the 2029 NFL season. So trading him before June 1st would result in a dead salary cap hit of around $31.6 million for 2025 per spot rack. If they traded him after June 1st, the Eagles would have around $10.8 million in dead cap space from Brown in 2025 and around $28 million in dead cap space in 2026 also per spot rack. So what exactly would you be trading for? A crapshoot to replace a lock? A player with 0 NFL snaps to replace one with over 3,000 receiving yards and 18 touchdowns in 3 years in Midnight Kelly Green? A.J. Brown isn't just a stat sheet warrior, has a tone setter. He plays angry. He plays physical. He plays like a Philly guy. You don't move on from that just because things got a little bumpy or the offense had a down month. Added to that is the fact that Brown only averaged 5 receptions per game last year. And those uncompelling numbers were caused by an intention shift in the offensive philosophy. That philosophy might not stay the course should something happen to Saquon, who's coming off a year with an inordinate amount of touches, 360 including playoffs that totaled 504 rushing yards and 20 total touchdowns. He has tallied 1,000-plus receiving yards in 5 of his 6 pro seasons, including 67 receptions for 1,079 yards and 7 touchdowns in 13 games last season with the Birds, and when he and quarterback Jalen Hurts were on the field at the same time. The Birds were 140. That was no accident. Minutemen way late to this party, and all of this talk of Brown being traded to the Patriots. If the Pats wanted Brown that badly, they wouldn't have taken N'Keal Harry 19 picks before Brown went to the Titans in the 2nd round of the draft back in 2019. But here's the only question you need to ask: does trading A.J. Brown make your team better or worse? Because at the end of the day, that's the only question that matters, and the answer is obvious. Trading Brown strips you of your identity, weakens your quarterback, and gives up a known alpha for a shot in the dark. Teams spend years trying to find a player like A.J. Brown. The Eagles have him. If you trade him, you're not reloading, you're resetting. And in the short championship window this team is in, that would be a colossal mistake. Don't overthink it, Howie. Keep your dogs. Keep your difference makers. Keep your top 20 player and keep your Super Bowl window wide open. Any questions? Eagles news. Can Malaki Starks replace C.J. Gardner-Johnson? This draft expert weighs in. Could Malaki Starks fill C.J. Gardner-Johnson's shoes? This draft expert weighs in when the Philadelphia Eagles traded C.J. Gardner-Johnson to the Houston Texans for Kenyon Green and a pick swap. It left fans with one major question. How would Howie Roseman replace the star safety in Vic Fangio's defense? Sure, he could go with an internal option, giving a player like Sidney Brown or Tristian a chance to run wild in a full-time starting role opposite Reed Blankenship. But unless Philadelphia lands a player like Justin Simmons in free agency, which admittedly feels likely, the Eagles will likely have to turn to the draft, where the next great coverman could soon call Philadelphia home. And who, you may ask, is the top safety in the 2025 NFL Draft? Well, that would be Malaki Starks, a do-it-all DB from Georgia who has played with about a half dozen other Eagles defenders during their time together in Athens. Discussing the Eagles draft with Jimmy Kempski of Philly Voice, Daniel Jeremiah was asked if he believes Starks could replace CJ long-term in Fangio's defense. His answer, unsurprisingly, was very pro-Georgia safety. I think it would be a great fit. Obviously, they love shopping at that store. Georgia has a really, really good player. I don't think he made as many plays this year as he did previously, but he gives you someone who, in a pinch, can play your nickel. I think he could survive outside at corner if you had to get out of a game, and I think he could be an outstanding free safety, play over the top, roam, and make plays, Jeremiah told Philly Voice. He's young. He's really, really well-liked in that. Building in terms of the leadership, character, intangible side of things. I think that would be, from a value standpoint and a fit standpoint, would be great. Unfortunately, while most players at the top of the 2025 NFL Draft would be good fits with the Eagles and every other team, for that matter too, Roseman would actually have to pick the player to make that happen. Would the Eagles select Starks if a player like Walter Nolan is on the board? Jeremiah doesn't see that happening. It's just that I think the Eagles, given their druthers, would rather they always like to start big, Jeremiah said. To me, if it's closely graded and there's an opportunity for them to get somebody on the line of scrimmage, I would think they would lean in that direction. But if they got wiped out and cleaned up on the offensive and defensive line, man, he would be a great fit. As a general rule, would Roseman prefer a defensive tackle or end over a safety if all things are equal? You bet, but what fans don't know is how Philadelphia has Starks ranked on their big board. If they consider him a blue chipper at a position of need and players like Nolan and Derek Harmon are off the board, who knows? Maybe Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, and company will have a new old teammate at the NovaCare Center this summer. And now, Birds fan, I want to hear from you. What's your opinion on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I don't know if you know this, but your opinion matters a lot for Birds. I'll be back any moment with more Eagles Nation news. Fly, Eagles.
Fly!